Doctress with me, Doctress Monica Nicole. I am excited and happy to be back with you all with another conversation on today. Um, I was reflecting on this energy of, our bodies are like cars, how we take care of our body determines how our car is, right? The oil changes, the tune ups, keeping gas inside of it. Our bodies are like cars. But then also, when we think about when we allow other people into our life, it's like we're allowing them access to our car. We're allowing them either, a ride in our car or we're letting them borrow our car. Okay. And a rocket gave me a start. Halfway up for heaven, you dropped me back into the cold world. Rocket Love by Stevie Wonder. You know, in high school, there was this popular thing where people, they rent these popular nice cars or whatnot for prom. So they rent these nice cars to drive to prom in and, goes with their outfit, all that jazz. And when prom is over, they take it back. Um, this message is for people who make people look good. So if you're still here in this conversation, you resonate with this. So let me tell you how my experience with this has been. I've always been like the friend who is funny, exciting, fun, things to do. Now, not saying that like my other friends are not that, but that's the role that I've played in those connections, right? The one who's just like it's just Monica, extra, all this other jazz, right? Um, but then one thing I also it came to find that um in dating, one of the things that will be said is that I'm like too much, right? And what I had to come to understand later on through reflection, through therapy, was that it wasn't that I was too much. It was that my car, the type of car that I am, and the maintenance that it takes to upkeep my car, they couldn't afford it. I'm like a Lamborghini, and their budget is a Chevy Cruze. Now, this is not to come at anybody who drives a Chevy Cruze before somebody come in the comments. Okay, oh well, my car paid off and da da. This is not about that. Okay, this is about people wanting what they can't afford, and that's something that I oftentimes run into in life, whether if it's um relationships, friendships, whatever. I run into a lot of people who want my energy or want me around, but they can't afford my energy, right? And one of the things that I used to do back in the past, I would self sabotage because I got tired of the rejection, not realizing that that rejection was really just protection, that I'm not for everyone, right? But if I'm still having these abandonment issues and confidence issues, I could be the best person in the world, right? No matter who that rejection is from, if I wanted that thing and I can't have it, it's an issue and a problem. Okay. So I began to do a lot of like self sabotaging because of this. Okay. What did this self sabotage look like? This self sabotage look like, well, since, they can't do this, I'm going to overcompensate. I'm going to give more. I'm going to do more. I'm going to show up more. I'm going to request for less. I'm going to accept less because maybe I'm just asking for too much. So maybe this Lamborghini is asking for too much for you to put premium gas in it, when for the Lamborghini to keep going, it needs premium gas. So what I would do is, and what many of you all could probably connect to, what I would do is I would accept less than what I knew I needed as a maintenance for myself. Okay. And the thing is, what I had to realize is that there are people who just want to experience. We're going to run into people who just want to experience us. They can't afford us, they can't offer or give what it is that we truly need to continue having us. So they can only rent us. And I use that loosely in a sense of that's why we have, people are into all these short-term relationships and all that jazz, right? The short-term relationships, the 3-month relationships, that's literally just a rental period. Okay. When they know they can't afford the emotional debt, or they can't afford the investment that they need to make for this opportunity. And this is not just talking about romance. I need you all to understand as you are listening to this. I don't want you to just limit this conversation to romance, because this is something that I found myself doing in jobs where I would accept a salary less than what I knew I was worth because I was afraid that I would not get the job. So instead of negotiating the salary, I would accept the salary that they gave me. First time, like, I didn't even know that aspect of needing to negotiate that worth. And that was something that I was so excited to see about in that movie Sinners, where he taught the little girl negotiation. He said, you never take the first offer. Okay. Now, in that aspect, now everything is not negotiable. Okay. Everything is not negotiable, but a lot of things are negotiable. And when you have those situations, right, you negotiate for what works best for you, the best possible, right? Many of us were not taught how to do that. We were taught to accept less than, even if we were like this top notch person, successful, all this other jazz. If you're the only person around you who've reached that level of success, your mindset is still around the sense of needing to do more, right? Or not being enough. So that's one thing I had to go through when I was in my therapy during my doctoral program. I had to reassess my definition of success and why I was in my program. I had to take away, because I didn't realize, because my grandmother had passed away right after I started my program. I didn't realize how much of what I did to achieve and show up, it was to show that I was worthy to my mom and to my dad and to my grandparents and to the family members who would say, oh, Monica's gonna be the one with a bunch of kids, and oh, she's gonna be a drugged out whore one day just like her mom, like all this other jazz, right? So I took that as a way to overcompensate and becoming this other person, not realizing that by me doing that I was leaving out the parts of myself of who I truly was, so I attached to this identity of success. So by me breaking away from that identity of success, of feeling like I had to do more to receive this attention, or to receive this love, or to receive what I'm worth, feeling like I had to do more, I had to show up more. Oh, if only I got that master's degree, or if only I got that, if only I got that, right? Now, I don't regret getting my doctorate or any of my masters. I absolutely love it. Everything was a part of my journey, right? But now, how I view success and the mental aspect of it, I understand by changing the perception that I utilize um, towards that success. It helped me with my self-worth. And what a lot of us don't realize is that when we are a high achiever, our worth lies in our success. It lies in how much we accomplish. It lies in how much we get done, right? So we have to go through and reframe our relationship with that, because that's why, they always say, why is it that some of the smartest girls end up with the most narcissistic partners, or they end up in some of the most toxic connections, or whatever the case is? It's just like, do you not know your worth? No, because the worth was attached to the success, to the achievements. So if it's been embedded inside of the mind that marriage is achievement, having a successful relationship is achievement, having children is what achievement is, If you feel like you're failing at that, you're going to overcompensate for that thing to be, because you feel like something in you, part of that trauma response is that I can fix this. This can be fixed. I can fix it, versus accepting that this is what it is, right? So we then begin to overcompensate with that overachieving, because we get all the knowledge of, the answers of how to fix the situation, how to help fix other people. We see their issues, all the other jazz, right? We're very hyper vigilant when it comes to that. And so we begin to take other people's realities and we turn them and internalize them as if they're our responsibility to help them get out of it, in a lot of ways. And so that's why it can be easy to get into toxic relationships when you are an overachiever, when you are a high achiever. And a big reason for why you went after the things that you went after was because, in a lot of ways, of the trauma of whether if it's abandonment or not being noticed, right? Well, maybe if I knew more, people would love me enough to stay, or they would see me if I'm being celebrated. So they see me now. This is how I get seen, by doing this, by showing up, by helping. And all this time you become successful, you have the money, but you're not happy because now you're stressed out with this going on. You're stressed out with this partner. You're stressed out over here at this space, and you're wondering, how did I get here? I did everything that I was told I was supposed to do, not realizing what you were told that you were supposed to do was still all a part of a trauma cycle. So it looked like we're getting out of the cycle by going to college, or by achieving, by doing all these things, but we're still in the cycle. We're just at a different level of the cycle, which is why we still attract people and things that are connected to that, just from an angle of, this is something that I can fix. This is something that I can, do. Y'all feel me? I'm playing this song over and over. This song has been in my head. So, what I come to find is that sometimes when we use that term empath or all the other jazz, it's it's a red flag, because it can be representative of someone who overgives, or they feel like it's their responsibility to fix and do everything. You get what I'm saying? And so this is why I switched from, I said I was ending doing personal sessions, and now it's strictly coaching packages, right? Because there's certain cycles that have to be broken in order to break out of that. And I know who I want to work with are those who are ready to break the cycle, and not those who just want to be coddled while they're in it. You get what I'm saying? So I'm for those high achievers who are ready to stop being the go-to person for everyone. Those who are ready to break the cycles of overworking, hustling, and finding your flow, what it is that you want to do for you. Not worried about, the abandonment of this or the confidence of this, but resting in your energy, right? And so when I think about how trauma forced, how can I put it? When I think about how trauma forced me into like this over vigilant, right? This over vigilant feeling of, I have to be the one to fix this. I have to be the one to do this. And I broke that habit. I realized success had a different meaning after that. The definition of success changed for me. The definition of wealth changed for me. I broke out of the old programming. Now when I go after to achieve something, It's not because I'm doing this because I want to go out and save the world, or because I want to do this. It's because I love to do this. And I want others to experience this love for this as well, right? So I don't want to just be dependent on anymore. My whole life I've been dependent on since I was a little girl. So that was a part of my trauma cycle. I was the one who had to fix everything. I was the one who had to make sure, this was together, this got fixed. Siblings, like, and that has always forced me to fall backwards in life. But it came to that point where teaching and allowing others to have their autonomy through me having my autonomy, it allows others to rest in their power, and now they can have less what's the word I'm thinking of? Because a lot of times when we're the one who's there always fixing stuff and doing X, Y, and Z, people can sometimes feel a certain type of way against us, you know, because who are you coming in helping? You think you all that, like, oh, you got it all together, and they feel a type of way that they have to get help from you. You get what I'm saying? And so I say all this to say, if you are someone who sees yourself as a high achiever, and no matter how much you achieve, no matter how much you do, it seems like you find yourself in situations that are not aligned with you and your highest self, um, or you're just still not at peace. This season of your life, you're shifting from being a superhero for everyone else and being a superhero for yourself. And that's very different because it's going to change how you define everything around you. And if you need support, I'm here to help you. I do have my coaching program, and then we have the Butterfly Effect School of Transformation. And then we have our Unlocking Your Subconscious Wealth Codes class tonight in the Butterfly Effect School of Transformation as well. For those who would like to register, and you can also get the replay as well if you want. The replay will always be available after. But this season, we're taking back that energy of why we did these things or what pushed us to that place. I knew those. Baby, all the cars are starting to come in now. I guess everybody about to start coming in and parking. But let me go and get in this house because I have a coaching session that I need to get to, and I need to get prepared for it. I thank you all for being here. I thank you all for being in this space, your subscriptions, your likes, your shares, your well wishes, all levels of support. I am grateful and thankful for you all for being here. May this have provided some level of understanding or even support for someone who's starting their process of breaking away from being that person that people, they love you for just that fun, but like they can't upkeep that energy. You get what I'm saying? Because now you're in a space where you're the one who's doing it. So I hope this all made sense. I did not script this out. I let this conversation come out how it needed to come out. I gotta go give Jonah his medicine and stuff and get ready for this session. So as always be real, always be true. Don't be afraid to do what your higher self and your spirit team is calling for you to do. Period. I love y'all and I'll see y'all later. Bye.